When love flips into betrayal, it doesn't just sting, it shatters everything. No one woke up ready for this chaos. Grammy-winning rapper T is staring down a possible 10-year sentence after singer and entrepreneur Kandi Burruss allegedly dropped secret footage straight into investigators' hands. What could be in that footage? And why would someone he once called a friend, maybe even something more, turn him in like that? Insiders close to the case are whispering that this video isn't fresh news at all. It's tied to the infamous Project Atlas leaks, that same eerie AI-driven scandal that twisted reality and blurred truth with deepfake tech months ago. But this time, they claim the footage is real. And now, as T fights to clear his name, his wife Tiny Harris is said to be completely crushed, emotionally wrecked and torn between loyalty and disbelief. Was this Kandi's revenge? A setup by the same shadowy forces behind Atlas? Or something even more personal? Whatever's going on, this isn't just another celebrity mess. It's about power, truth, and a secret that refuses to stay buried. The whole city of Atlanta felt different that morning. The air thick, tense, like even the streets knew something explosive was coming. It all kicked off with one alert, a single red notification flashing across every entertainment feed. Confidential footage submitted, under investigation. Within minutes, the whole internet went wild. What started as a few quiet whispers on gossip blogs turned into a full-blown digital firestorm. Every outlet, from underground podcasts to primetime TV, was blasting the same headline: T, the self-proclaimed king of the South, under investigation. He was allegedly facing 10 years behind bars, and the person pulling the strings, someone no one saw coming: Kandi Burruss. Fans were in total disbelief. Kandi and T had known each other for years, sharing history, connections, and a quiet bond that always stayed off the public radar. But the footage she handed over wasn't some random throwback. It was serious, and it hit deep. Leaked court files claimed the clip was directly linked to the Vegas scandal, the same Project Atlas conspiracy that already blurred the line between digital lies and cold reality. But this time, investigators weren't brushing it off. They labeled it digital evidence of intent. That phrase alone sent chills through Hollywood. By lunchtime, the internet was already in full meltdown. Hashtags exploding across every feed. Hashtag justice for Tiny, hashtag Kandi leaks, and hashtag TI faces 10 years were all trending like wildfire. Meanwhile, paparazzi camped outside T's mansion, waiting for a statement that never came. Cameras flashed, reporters yelled questions, but the gates stayed closed. His wife, Tiny Harris, hadn't been seen since the story dropped. Her last post, a smiling family photo captioned "Love always wins," had turned into a battlefield of comments. Thousands flooded in, half showing love, half throwing shade. Some called her a victim, others accused her of covering for her man. But behind those closed doors, insiders say Tiny wasn't scrolling, she was breaking down. Tears, quiet and endless, the kind that come when trust collapses completely. And according to an anonymous source close to Kandi's legal team, that footage, it wasn't leaked at all. It was officially submitted, and that changes everything. She never meant to destroy him, an insider revealed. She just wanted to clear her own name. But once the authorities got their hands on that footage, everything spun out of her control. The video allegedly showed a private conversation, something far more personal than a simple business talk between T and Kandi. It was quiet, intimate, and filmed without consent, the kind of clip that could wreck an image in seconds. And for T, whose reputation was already hanging by a thread, it was pure disaster waiting to happen. That night, T finally broke his silence with a tense Instagram live. His voice was sharp, defensive, but underneath it, you could hear the fear creeping in. "I don't know what they talking about," he said, shaking his head. "All that fake AI nonsense, man. They trying to make a brother look guilty with something that ain't even real." The comments came flooding in within seconds. Half of them sent love. "Stay strong, King," while the rest threw out the same question. "If it's fake, why hasn't your team released the original footage?" The pressure was on, and the internet wasn't playing nice. Meanwhile, Kandi's team fired back with a perfectly worded statement. "Ms. Burruss has cooperated fully with investigators and stands by the truth. Any claims of digital fabrication are being addressed through appropriate legal channels." Her tone sounded calm, but insiders whispered that behind the scenes she was falling apart. She hadn't posted, hadn't returned calls, not even to her closest friends. Those near her said she was terrified. Not of T, but of what might happen if Project Atlas decided she'd said too much. The fear was real, and it was spreading fast. After all, if that AI system could fake celebrity weddings and create deepfake confessions that fooled millions, who's to say it couldn't twist this story too? Back at T's home, Tiny sat frozen, watching the same footage everyone online was losing their minds over. A friend who dropped by that night said she looked like a ghost of herself. The clip, even though parts were blurred and redacted, still hit hard. T's voice, Kandi's face, the timestamp lined up perfectly with a night T swore he was performing in another city. "That's him," Tiny whispered, "but he said he wasn't there." Her hands trembled as she replayed the few seconds again and again, desperate to catch a glitch, a flicker, anything that could prove it was fake, but she couldn't find one. The movements looked too natural, the emotion in their voices too raw. It felt real, painfully real. By midnight, the internet had gone nuclear. Fans split into camps, each defending their own truth. Some believed T was the victim of a high-tech setup, a sinister Project Atlas experiment meant to manipulate public opinion and track human emotion. Others said this was karma, the universe finally calling him out. The same man who once rapped about loyalty and respect was now drowning in his own secrets. Then came the wild theories. People claiming the government was pulling strings, using AI scandals to distract from something even darker. Social media turned into a battleground of proof, and debunking fans dropped hour-long breakdown videos, zooming in on body language, syncing old interviews, and matching lip movements frame by frame, all trying to decide whether the footage was real or just another terrifying illusion. Behind all the chaos, there was a heavy silence, the kind that creeps in right before something even worse hits. Late that night, an anonymous account dropped a chilling post on X, and it sent shockwaves through the internet. The message read, "The footage is just the beginning." The files run deeper attached was a still frame showing Kandi's reflection in a mirror, her eyes wide, terrified, like she suddenly realized the camera was still rolling when she thought it stopped. The caption? "Project Atlas never stops recording." Within hours, the post was deleted without a trace, but the damage was done. Screenshots spread everywhere like wildfire. Tiny saw them too. Her friends begged her to step away, to log off, to breathe, but she couldn't. Every post, every theory, every blurred clip pulled her deeper into a truth she wasn't ready to face. Was her husband a victim of digital manipulation, or had he finally been caught in his own web of lies? That question tore through her mind all night. By morning, chaos turned into full-blown media frenzy. News vans packed the courthouse parking lot, reporters fighting for angles, cameras flashing non-stop. Prosecutors confirmed that the footage submitted by Kandi was officially under review, evidence in an ongoing case involving digital blackmail and consent violations. They didn't drop names, but everyone already knew who it was about. Hours later, T arrived surrounded by his legal team. Head low, no grin, no words, just tension in the air. The man once known for his unstoppable swagger looked smaller, like someone finally realizing the walls were closing in. Tiny wasn't there. Insiders whispered she couldn't bear to see it. She was too broken, watching her world collapse one headline at a time. Tiny stayed home that morning, gripping her phone as it lit up nonstop with messages. Friends, family, even strangers flooding her inbox. Some begged her to leave him, others said stand by him, but for the first time in forever, she didn't know what side she was on. The truth had turned slippery, a ghost dancing between headlines, algorithms, and lies that looked real enough to destroy lives. Meanwhile, the whole city pulsed with speculation. This wasn't just another messy celebrity scandal. This was a full-on war between truth and illusion. And the craziest part, no one, not even T or Kandi, seemed sure which side they were really on. Inside the courthouse, silence filled the room. Heavy, tense, broken only by the faint clicks of cameras capturing every twitch and glance. Every eye was locked on T, sitting at the defense table in a sharp black suit. His jaw was tight, his stare locked forward, stone cold serious. He hadn't said a single word since stepping inside, but that silence screamed volumes. Fear, anger, and defiance all tangled together. Across the room sat Kandi Burruss, eyes lowered, refusing to meet his gaze. From the outside, she looked calm, almost composed, but insiders said her hands were shaking on the table. Her lawyers leaned in, whispering fast, sliding papers her way for her to sign. The air between them wasn't just thick with legal tension, it was soaked in history, betrayal, and conversations that never got closure. As the hearing kicked off, prosecutors dropped the bomb, the evidence that had set the internet ablaze. A string of encrypted video clips showing what appeared to be T and Kandi together inside a Las Vegas hotel suite. The footage flashed across screens in the courtroom, and even though no one dared speak, the shock was written all over every face in the room. The footage flickered onto the screen, grainy but painfully intimate. Two people laughing, whispering, sharing private moments that had no place being played in a courtroom. The issue wasn't just what was seen, it was when it was recorded. The timestamp lined up exactly with the night T was supposed to be performing in another state. This isn't just about infidelity, the prosecutor declared firmly. This is about deception, manipulation, and potential digital exploitation. The words hit the room like a hammer. The judge sat silent, face unreadable, while the media outside went absolutely wild. Every news network streamed the trial live, analyzing every tiny expression, every glance, every breath. At home, Tiny Harris sat frozen on her couch, tears running nonstop as the footage played again and again. She wanted to believe him, to trust the man she had defended through everything. But each new frame cut deeper than the last. Then, something caught her eye. Something small but undeniable. A tattoo on T's hand, the same one he'd gotten months after the night he claimed to be out of town. The timeline didn't add up anymore. Her voice broke as she whispered, "It's him! It's really him!" And in that moment, something inside her shattered, something no apology could ever repair. But then, a sudden twist shook the courtroom. His defense attorney stood up and dropped a bombshell motion. "We're requesting an independent forensic analysis of the footage," he announced. "We believe this so-called evidence has been digitally tampered with, and that my client is the victim of a sophisticated setup tied to the ongoing Project Atlas investigation." The room erupted in murmurs. The mention of Atlas changed everything. Again. The moment Project Atlas was mentioned, it sent a shockwave through the courtroom. Everyone knew that name, the secretive AI program rumored to create hyper-realistic deepfakes so convincing they could rewrite reality itself. But no one expected it to show up here, tangled inside a case already buried in scandal. The judge approved the motion, giving both sides 72 hours to bring in their own digital experts. That night, as news of the twist hit the internet, chaos exploded again. Conspiracy threads flooded every platform. Some claimed the footage wasn't filmed by humans at all, but generated by AI, built from stolen fragments of hacked celebrity data. Others argued the video was real, but that Atlas had edited it, twisting small truths into something monstrous to ruin reputations. No one could agree on what was real anymore. And that uncertainty was the scariest thing of all. Even the truth didn't look real anymore. At home, Tiny's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. It was short, just one line. "He wasn't supposed to be the target, you were." Her heart stopped cold. She stared at the screen, not sure if it was a sick joke or a serious warning. She didn't reply, just called her lawyer, who told her to power the phone off immediately. But curiosity got the best of her. When she looked again, the message had vanished. Deleted remotely. Was it a glitch, a hack, or something way more intentional? She couldn't tell, and that uncertainty clawed at her. Meanwhile, across town in a dimly lit office, Kandi Burruss sat with her digital consultant, both staring at the same footage she turned in weeks ago. The air was tense, silent, because deep down, even she wasn't sure what she'd really unleashed. "Something's off," the consultant muttered, squinting at the screen as he zoomed in on a single frame. "See that reflection in the mirror? The light's looping every 2.6 seconds. That's not natural?" Kandi frowned, her pulse quickening. "So, it's fake?" she asked. The man hesitated, voice low. "Not completely. It's built from something real, but parts of it have been overwritten. Whoever did this used real memories, yours and his, as raw data." Kandi's stomach twisted. She'd heard the Atlas rumors before, stories about synthetic memory, emotional mapping, and AI systems that didn't just copy your image, they replicated your feelings. "You're saying they used us?" she whispered. The consultant nodded grimly. "They're not after you," he said. "They're studying how far people will go to believe a lie." The next morning, T sat behind closed doors with his legal team. He looked exhausted, hollow-eyed, drained, like a man who hadn't slept in days. His manager broke the silence. "They're saying Atlas might have done this, that the video was fabricated to destroy your name." T shook his head slowly, staring at the table. "And what if it ain't fake?" The room went dead quiet. His lawyer leaned forward, eyes sharp. "You're saying it's real?" T's voice cracked. "I'm saying I don't even know anymore. I've been recorded so many times, man. Half the time I can't tell what's private and what's public. Maybe I said something, maybe I didn't, but that ain't a reason to lock me up for 10 years. His lawyer sighed heavily. "Right now, perception is the punishment. If Atlas is behind this, then you're not just fighting for your innocence. You're fighting against an illusion that the whole world already believes. You're fighting to prove what reality even is." The lawyer's words echoed in T's mind like a curse, and later that same day, just when everyone thought the chaos couldn't get worse, A new clip surfaced online. This one was different. It didn't come from the original footage. It came from a security camera outside a data center in Nevada, the rumored location of the Project Atlas servers. The grainy video showed a woman, her face half hidden, slipping into the building late at night. The caption read, "She brought the footage here first." Instantly, the internet went wild. Some swore the woman was Kandi, others insisted it was Tiny. Within hours, the comment sections turned vicious, accusations flying, threats, endless speculation. Even celebrities started chiming in, each trying to pick a side. But by then, no one was chasing the truth anymore. The internet didn't want truth, it wanted chaos. That night, Tiny Harris finally broke her silence. She posted a single message to her followers. "I don't know what's real anymore, but I know pain when I feel it. It hit hard, raw, emotional, painfully human." Within minutes, her post exploded across every platform. Thousands of comments poured in. Some begging her to walk away, others telling her to stand by her man. Every word, every emoji, every heart and teardrop reaction got swallowed up by the same algorithm that had started this entire storm. And somewhere in a cold, windowless control room, someone was watching it all unfold. Every click, every share, every tear was being logged as data. A faint voice behind a glowing screen whispered, "Phase 2, complete." And 2 days later, the world held its breath again. The forensic results were ready. Both sides geared up for a courtroom showdown that could finally decide who was telling the truth, or whether the truth even existed anymore. TE's future hung in the balance as chaos swarmed outside the courthouse. Reporters shouted over each other, cameras flashed nonstop, and microphones stretched toward anyone who might drop a hint, but no one dared to answer. Inside, the tension was suffocating, thick enough to choke on. At the front of the courtroom, the lead digital forensic analyst stepped forward, holding a small flash drive, the one that supposedly carried the truth, or at least something close to it. The lights dimmed slightly as the screen flickered to life. All eyes locked forward. "What you're seeing here," the analyst began, voice calm but heavy with weight, "appears authentic to the human eye. However, when we examined the data frame by frame, we discovered inconsistencies, micro glitches that suggest artificial interpolation. Most people didn't understand the jargon, but then the analyst zoomed in, and the entire room gasped in unison. On screen, the reflection of T's face in a mirror flickered for just a split second. One frame showing two versions of him. "This isn't editing," the analyst explained, steady but tense. "This is synthesis. The footage was generated using multiple real recordings merged through a process we believe is linked to the Project Atlas network." Whispers filled the room, reporters scribbling furiously as the revelation sank in. For the first time in days, T lifted his head. His eyes met Kandi's, and for a long second, something unspoken passed between them. Not anger, not forgiveness, just pure exhaustion. Two people trapped in a digital nightmare neither of them could control. Then the prosecutor stood sharply, trying to reclaim authority. "So you're suggesting this entire video was fabricated?" The analyst shook his head. "Not fabricated," he corrected quietly. "Constructed." The word hung in the air like a thunderclap, leaving everyone wondering what was real and what had never been real at all. "There are real moments here," the analyst continued, voice steady but sharp, "but they've been altered. Whoever created this wanted truth and lie to exist in the same frame." Gasps rippled through the courtroom as reporters leaned forward, eyes wide. The judge called for order, but the room buzzed with electricity. Everyone knew this was bigger than any celebrity scandal now. This was proof that reality itself could be weaponized. At home, Tiny Harris sat glued to her TV watching the live broadcast. That flicker, that half-second glitch, replayed in her mind over and over. For a brief moment, relief flooded her chest. Maybe he hadn't betrayed her completely. Maybe none of them were actually in control of this madness. But then the analyst dropped another bomb. He pulled up a data chart showing the file's metadata logs, including the very first upload location. The coordinates pointed straight to a data center in Nevada. And then, on the screen, next to the registration ID, a name appeared: Tamika Harris, Tiny's full legal name. Her breath caught like she'd been punched. She stumbled back, her heart racing, eyes wide in disbelief. "That's my name," she whispered, voice trembling. "They used my name." The TV blurred through her tears as the weight of it crashed over her. Someone had dragged her into the center of this digital war. Across the country, the internet went feral. Hashtags exploded across every platform. Hashtag Atlas Truth, hashtag Tam Echo was framed, hashtag TI break silence, all trending within minutes. Commentators argued nonstop. Was Tiny the real victim of a setup or the secret mastermind behind the chaos? Some claimed she'd been compromised by Atlas, while others insisted she was running the whole thing from the inside. No one knew what to believe anymore. And that's exactly how Atlas liked it. Every theory online got wilder than the last. But that was the point. Each one kept the views climbing, the clicks multiplying, and the outrage alive. Project Atlas didn't need to drop new content. It just had to sit back and let the world feed it. The chaos ran itself. That night, Kandi's lawyer called an emergency press conference. Flashbulbs lit up the room as she stood at the podium, reading from a carefully prepared statement. Ms. Burruss categorically denies any involvement with Project Atlas or the alteration of any digital materials. She acted under legal obligation to provide evidence in good faith. Reporters fired off questions, voices overlapping in a frenzy, but Kandi stayed silent. Off camera, tears streaked her face as the weight of it hit her. She didn't even know anymore if she'd been a whistleblower or just bait. Meanwhile, T was unraveling behind closed doors. He paced his studio like a caged man, walls lined with glowing monitors, every single one streaming clips about his own downfall. "They're playing with me," he muttered under his breath. "They're making me their experiment." Then his phone buzzed, another message from an unknown number. "Stop chasing lies. They already wrote your ending." His grip tightened before he slammed the phone down hard, but the words echoed in his mind long after. For the first time, it clicked. Atlas wasn't just a program. It was a mirror. It didn't invent scandals. It reflected what people wanted to believe. Late that night, unable to take it anymore, Tiny got in her car and drove straight to Kandi's house. The tension was thick. It would be their first face-to-face meeting since the entire story blew up. Neither woman spoke at first. The silence between them was heavy, tense, almost sacred. Finally, Tiny broke it, her voice soft but steady. "They're using us," she whispered. Kandi nodded slowly. "I know. And they won't stop until we give them something new to feed on." The two sat in the quiet hum of the night, distant camera flashes flickering through the windows. For that brief moment, enemies turned into allies. They'd both lost too much: their privacy, their peace, even control over their own identities. Together, they made a choice. They would trace the Atlas servers themselves and find whoever had stolen their names, their voices, their faces. Hours passed in a blur of plans and panic, until a single notification shattered the calm. Across every major platform, a message appeared simultaneously, bold and chilling. "Project Atlas, final phase begins." Attached was a live stream from an anonymous account. A masked figure stood on screen, voice distorted, tone eerie and calm. "You wanted the truth," it said. "Now you'll live it." Behind the figure, giant holographic screens flickered with endless clips. T, Kandi, and Tiny laughing, crying, confessing, shouting, all at once. None of it was real. Yet every second felt true. The faces shifted seamlessly, merging and breaking apart, blurring the line between memory and manipulation. Then, the stream cut out abruptly. Millions of viewers were left staring at blank black screens and their own reflections staring back at them. Somewhere, deep in the network's core, servers hummed softly, processing the tsunami of reactions. Every click, every tear, every angry comment, all recorded, all fed back into the system. Tiny turned to Kandi, voice trembling. "It's not about us anymore, is it?" Kandi shook her head, her face pale under the glow of her phone. "No," she said quietly. "It's about everyone watching." As dawn broke over Atlanta, the story had already changed. Again, headlines screamed new theories, politicians demanded investigations, and influencers spun fresh content out of the chaos. But deep in the shadows of the internet, the Atlas network kept evolving, learning, adapting, becoming more human. With every lie the world continued to tell. So what do you believe now? Was T really the mastermind behind his own downfall? Or just another pawn in a system built to twist the truth until no one knows what's real anymore? The evidence, the denials, the heartbreak, it all feels real, doesn't it? But that's exactly how the illusion traps you. Every frame, every soundbite, every leak is crafted to pull you deeper into a story that might not even exist. Kandi swears she did the right thing. Tiny insists she never knew. T claims it's all fake. But Project Atlas? It hasn't said a single word, and it doesn't have to. The internet is doing the talking for it, turning pain into headlines, confusion into entertainment, and betrayal into profit. Every click, every comment, every share, it all feeds the machine. The more we react, the stronger it grows. Learning, adapting, controlling what we think we know. Maybe that's the real punishment here. Not the scandals, not the courtrooms, not even the 10-year threat, but the idea that none of us can ever be sure what's real anymore. And maybe that's what Atlas wanted from the very beginning. So tell me, what do you think? Was Kandi chasing justice or revenge? Is T a liar, a victim, or something caught in between? And if the footage really was fake, then who's the one pulling the strings behind the curtain? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you believe. And if you've been following this story since the first leak, smash that like button right now. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video.